Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and help me to welcome your Member of Parliament, the Honourable Juliet Cuthbert Flynn, who will bring remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Cargill. It is really a pleasure to be here. Welcome, Prime Minister, to cool St. Andrew and in the Rock Hall area. Most Honourable Prime Minister Andrew Holness, Councillor Rowan Hall, Pastor Ron Collins, who gave us a really good prayer this afternoon, members of the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, and of course the recipient of this house, this beautiful home, Mr. Ryan Moore, and I know his dad is also here. I'm not seeing Mr. Moore, members of the constabulary, and also members of this beautiful community of Rock Hall in the Red Hills Division, members of the media, a pleasant good afternoon. A noted author once said, "Home is the nicest word there is," and I totally agree. It is my belief that home is comfort, home is safety, and home is also a peace of mind. This handing over ceremony shows the commitment by the government to fulfill its mandate by providing homes for some of the neediest in our society. There are many persons who have land handed down to them from generations, but are unable to build a decent home. This National Social Housing Program by the government will assist a number of persons who are not able to afford a mortgage and are in need. Mr. Moore is a hard worker. By the way, he's been working on cleaning up the area from the weekend. I came up here yesterday and saw him working very hard, and so you are very deserving, I believe, of this home. After sharing a space with family members, it is now your time to have comfort within a space that you can call home. Honorable Prime Minister, the pandemic we know impacted us for 2 years and impacted Jamaica and delayed many projects in the last 2 years. But I'm very pleased that today I'm proud to say that about six houses were built for families under this social housing program in St. Andrew West Rural since its inception since 2018. I want to personally express gratitude on behalf of all the recipients. It has been a life-changing experience for everyone, and they are eternally grateful. A house can change a person's attitude and also their outlook on life. Christine Carr, a sociologist, said, "As humans, we have an evolutionary need for stability and community, which owning a home can provide." And so I want to say, thanks to this National Social Housing Program, Ryan, now you can say you have independence and also stability, which is important. And I hope that you will take care of this beautiful house and maintain it as best as you can. I promised you yesterday that I'll come and help you plant some flowers at the front. You have a nice little area there to plant some flowers. So if you need some help, call upon me and I will give you some tips for a nice flower bed. Beautify it and make it your home. Honorable Prime Minister, I want to thank you, sir. I've seen the change this National Social Housing Program has done for the many families right across Jamaica land we love. And I say blessing always. Thank you very much.
I think the Member of Parliament deserves another round of applause. Thank you, Minister Cuthbert Flynn, for your remarks. And ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute pleasure now to introduce the Most Honourable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister and Minister of Economic Growth and Job Creation, to bring the main remarks.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Pastor, for your invocation. Let me acknowledge your hard-working and fit Member of Parliament, Juliet Cuthbert, and I want to especially acknowledge Mrs. Judith Robb Walters, who is the chairperson of the Project Oversight Committee. And let me also acknowledge the beneficiary, Mr. Rayon Moore. I would say a few words, firstly, on the concept of the project, the new social housing program. The program is established to ensure that there is equity in the government's housing program. Equity meaning fairness. So the government is utilizing all avenues to ensure that we increase the availability of housing in Jamaica. Our main focus for the increase in availability is through the market, meaning that the government is working on ensuring that the production of new housing units increases and that they are available, meaning that they are affordable, so that persons who are employed or persons who have some form of endowment, savings, or family wealth or assets are able to purchase a home. However, there are many Jamaicans who would not be able to acquire housing through the market. Now, even Jamaicans who are able to purchase a home that is on the open market for sale, they still would have to get a mortgage. There are not many Jamaicans who could go in their pocket and buy a house the same way that there are more Jamaicans who would be able to buy a car cash. And even then, we have to ensure that the interest rate that you pay is affordable, seeing that this is going to be a lifelong investment. So the government is working to ensure affordability, meaning that you have a mortgage, you can get access to a mortgage, and that's through the NHT, and that the mortgage rates are low. When you compare the NHT rates to the bank rates, the NHT rates are particularly low and affordable. However, what about those people who have no income? Or what about those people whose income approximates the minimum wage? What about those people who maybe they earn a little bit more than minimum wage, but their demands of family just wipes out their income, their responsibilities? And what about those people who are of no means whatsoever, but they live in circumstances like what you would see displayed there? They live in habitats that are substandard. What about those people? Shouldn't they also have some opportunity, a chance of getting a house? So the government's housing policy is trying to ensure that those people with income, those people with means, can access a house on the open market. But we need to have social housing that treats with those persons who have no means, who are indigent, who have large families, who the income of the family is just not sufficient to deal with the needs of the family in addition to housing. So the government has to put forward a program to assist. Now, there are several modalities in which the government provides this kind of social housing. Sometimes we give a housing grant, and that is particularly helpful for people who live in a structure. Structure might be a little bit shaky, but still standing up. It might need some support, particularly for roofing. Most of our social housing goes for that. There is another modality as well. Sometimes the government may give people access to houses through a form of rent or lease. Now, that program is not yet fully developed, but we're trying to build out something like that. But the program modality with which we are working with today, the new social housing program, is that we are specifically targeting Jamaicans whose housing conditions are substandard, but they may have access to land. That's critical. So sometimes they are living in substandard housing on land that they either own or that they have a formal legal right to occupy. And if the right isn't formalized, then what we do as a new social housing program, we assist them to have it formalized, meaning put it in writing either through a lease or a deed of gift, or to assist them in getting the title for the land that they occupy. And then the government comes in and puts up a structure, builds the structure, and turns it over to the beneficiary. But there are certain conditions. We call it a social contract that the beneficiary would have to agree to. One of the things that we emphasize is that if we build the structure on the land and we turn it over to you, you can't then turn around and rent it out. Because that meant you didn't really need that benefit in the first place. You're profiting from the public's resources, which should not be. Somebody else who needed it could have gotten it. So you have to sign agreeing that you won't rent the house out. Then you have to also sign that the house has to be used for the purpose that it was built for. It was built to house your family. So you can't take it and turn it into a shop, into a beauty salon, or some other usage. You have to live in it. And then we say that any modification that you're going to do to the house, because, you know, we could very well build a house and you take it, you lick down this and lick down that and change all kinds of things on the house, that defeats the purpose. So if you're going to do any modification, you have to get our approval. But more than that, any modification you're going to do to this house has to get the approval of the authorities, meaning the planning authorities, the parish council, NEPA, if you're getting serious with your expansion. So we need to be informed, and it must meet the legal standards for modification. And you can't sell this house for 20 years. Because what would be the purpose of giving you the house and then, as we turn our backs, you sell the house? No, you cannot sell it for 20 years. So these are just some of the stipulations that we put on the beneficiary. But there are others, of course. The beneficiary has to be an upstanding citizen. You can't just get access to public funds and then you are one of the troublemakers in the community. So we expect that you will be an upstanding citizen, that you will set an example and lead the community, just as your member of parliament here would have seen that you are taking the opportunity to clean up the place, clean up your environment. Yes, and you must be a positive voice in the community. Talk to the youths in the area. Encourage them. Point out to them that your government, and when I say your government, everybody's government, the national government, the national government has done something for you. So be positive. And so this is the new social housing program, which is delivering benefits. Now, we are at, believe it or not, our 119th house. So we are moving quite a pace. 119. And today I believe I'm going to be handing over about 6 units. 5. Right, so we are handing over, yes, so we are handing over 5 units today. And within the week, I believe I might have another 5. So, and then on Friday, I have 9. Yeah, so we're moving pretty quickly. The houses, we have now developed a fairly robust system of building the houses. And one of the things I'm very proud of, this is a 1-bedroom unit. And this unit has come in terms of cost to the government of $3.8 million. You're not going to find a unit of this quality, of this standard for that price anywhere in the market. But we have refined our systems to be able to do that. And I'm still of the view that it can go cheaper, or rather, it can be less expensive. So, which means more affordable. So we're refining our systems to do that. But what I'm also proud of, Richard, how long did it take to build this house? So this unit took us 3 months to build, which is very long, because we are building units like this in 4 weeks. 4 weeks, yes. But I can understand, based upon the terrain. Having walked up the terrain, I am challenged to see how the laborers would have gotten up the cement, the gravel, the blocks, the steel. It is a struggle. But we are building the houses all over, everywhere, where people can find appropriate building sites. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to hand over this unit to Mr. Moore. Mr. Moore, congratulations on your new unit.
Thank you, Prime Minister. At this time, I'll invite Mr. Moore, the beneficiary, and the man of the moment to move the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, guests, and well-wishers, friends, families, everyone. I should say, give me a louder good afternoon than that, man. Yes, that sounds a little brighter. My name is Mr. Ryan Moore, as you have already heard, the beneficiary of this beautiful building. I would love to say thanks to the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, ON, PC, MP, Prime Minister of Economic Growth and Job Creation. And to our Member of Parliament, Honorable Juliet Cuthbert Flynn, MP, Member of Parliament, St. Andrew, West Rural, and to all distinguished guests, thank you very much. I appreciate it very much. God bless you all. And to the councillor and everybody, nobody is left out. God bless you all. Respect.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attendance. I don't want it to seem that we are rushing, but the Prime Minister has 4 other units to hand over. Another one in a terrain, probably worse than this, Prime Minister. Worse than this. And we are very certain that you, Mr. Moore, and your family will enjoy your new home and continue to be model citizens, as the Prime Minister said, in your community, wider parish, and the country. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attendance here again, and we have come to the end of this part of the ceremony, and we will join the Prime Minister, the Member of Parliament, Chair of the Project Oversight Committee, and Mr. Moore in signing of the social contract and the ribbon cutting exercise. Thank you again, and may God bless you.